All right, so welcome everybody to this week's edition of the 10X Business Owners Mastermind Call. And this call comes to you live every week. Unfortunately, this week we had to change the schedule, so I apologize for any inconvenience that this has caused anyone, which I've got a couple of text messages from some of you that can't make it at this time. But so I'm going to try to make it super duper valuable for you. And it's a good time of the year to revisit what I would call your perfect client. And whenever I give this talk in front of a room, I teach on perfect client and your wow client. So that one client that you have a great interaction with, you love them, they love you, your heart goes pitter patter when you're talking to them, and vice versa. And so this is a good exercise to go through at least twice a year minimum. So for me personally, in my own business, I go through this in June, towards the end of June, and I go through it again at the end of December. And for me, it's on my schedule for next week. So I take the week off, pretty much the last week off of the year. And I just revisit all of my systems. I revisit all of my client, my entire year. I have a whole list of questions, which I'll email out to everybody that I go through in my own business to evaluate this year. And just to make sure that the plan I created 2 weeks ago after my birthday is the plan I want to run with this coming calendar year. And so it starts off with my client, because that's the source of bread and butter for all of our businesses. And so the exercise is this: you pick anywhere from 3, 4, 5, 10 clients that you absolutely enjoy. You love the interaction with them. You love dealing with them. You get excited when they call you on the phone. They get excited to talk to you. You have a great relationship with those clients. And so I'm a very visual person. Other people are more of an analytical personality. Other people are more of a relationship-driven personality. For me, it's visual. So I literally will take a blank piece of paper. I get a little 6x9 tablet. So it's a smaller piece of paper. And I list the client at the top of the page. And then I write out different characteristics about that person. In my world, it's, are they male or female? And I only deal with business owners. So my next question is, okay, how long have they been in business? Next is, what type of business? Are they a service-based business, or are they a product-driven business? In my world, probably 95% of the companies I deal with are product or service-driven type companies. Then I look at, okay, what geography? Are they here locally? Are they national or international? Where are they located? Is there a certain revenue type? So in my world, it's okay, what type of revenue are they producing on a regular basis? But all the different characteristics that would be important to describe them as a business. That's the first step. The second step is, okay, what makes it a great experience for me? What is it about them that I like? Is it they show up on time? Is it they pay their bill on time? When I went through this exercise the week before my birthday, I discovered I had a client that was paying me literally $3,000 a month, and I was not happy with them. I've been unhappy with them for several months. And the reason is every single month, the bill is due on the 28th of the month. And they really never really wanted me to give me their credit card. And I would literally send them an invoice. Then I'd have to follow up. Then I had to follow up with a phone call. Then I had to follow up with an email. I'd have to do like 4 or 5 follow-ups just to get paid, which frustrates the living crap out of me because I don't like to collect on money. And so I determined at the end of that exercise that I'm going to have that conversation with the client, and we are going to either work it out or we're going to part ways. And so I talked to the client about, hey, the source of frustration there. and we were able to fix it. But let me not digress there. Let me go back to the original thing. And I described all the other clients what I really enjoyed about the interaction with them. Things like, when I consult them, they like the advice, they take the advice, and they take execution on the advice. And they get results on the advice. When I talk to them, when we have a scheduled call, they show up. They show up on time and they're ready to go. They've done their pre-call check-in list. Everything is just smooth as butter working with them. And I describe what that is. Then what I do is I take that and I take in my case right now, it's 10 clients. And I put them on the wall and I grab my highlighter and I go and I highlight all the commonalities with that business. Then I'm looking for things that all of the clients have. So in my case, all the business owners I'm working with, they've been in business for more than 5 years. That's probably the number one common thing. They have a significant amount of time, money, and energy invested in their business. They are open to coaching and consulting. And so it's things like that I highlighted. And then when it came to this one client, I discovered that, this person would cancel on me. This person would continue to pay me, but would only show up, twice a month. They weren't taking action on the stuff that I was telling them to do and could never really get any traction. And I worked with this client for over a year. And so I finally had to get the client. It helped me identify a client that I don't want. And so I had to have a conversation with that client and basically say, hey, you know what? This relationship is no longer working for both of us. Meaning, it's working for me because I got the money, but life's more enjoyable, beyond the money. And I said, I no longer like to chase money down, and I'm not going to do that with you no more. And the other thing is we don't really need a full-scale one-on-one relationship because you're not taking advantage of it. And basically, you're taking up a slot that I have that I can be using for somebody else. And so I scaled their relationship back from $3,000 a month to $500 a month with 1 2-hour meeting once a month, and got his credit card, and everything is on track exactly where we need it to be. The point is I'm happy with this client. This client's happy with me. I think the relationship is going to work out really well, and it opened up a slot, which I'm going to fill on Wednesday night. And, now I've got 2 clients out of the deal because I went hunting for a new client. So one of them's going to sign up tomorrow and the other one Wednesday. So here's the point is I would not have had that type of relationship with that client going forward had, I not done this exercise. So with that said, I would highly recommend you do that at this point in time with your own client base. Now, once you've done this exercise, then you can go back and you can go, okay, what can I do to make the relationship better? How can I get more clients like that? And what I would do is a survey with those clients and ask, okay, hey, what would it be like, if you were in a position to refer me to a friend or colleague, what would you tell them about me? And you can go back and listen to previous recordings to get that whole script. But that's what I would do at this moment in time is you go back and reevaluate the client base that you have, the clients that you want, set your goals to go out and find clients like that. Because here's the deal. If you see an appointment with your client in your calendar and your hope and prayer is that they cancel the appointment or reschedule, that's not the right client for you. And it causes a dysfunction in the relationship. So go out and make that happen. That's my coaching for today. And let me open it up for some Q&A. Cindy.
Yes.
So any feedback on what I just talked about?
I, I just thought it was funny that, that person just kept showing up as a bad match. And yet you were still able to, work out an arrangement with them. It'll be interesting to have you check in on that person with us next year.
Yeah, it was kind of weird because this client, we've accomplished a lot of stuff. And it's just been in the last 3 months that he's been traveling, he's been doing all this other stuff. And, I carve out an hour and a half one week and then an hour the next week with my client. And he just would not show up. I'm like, you're paying me all this money, but you're not taking advantage of it. That's always a nervousness for me.
Right.
And so,
it feels icky because you want to help them, and it doesn't feel good if people are paying you and, you're not, it's their choice in a way. Gyms don't feel bad, or Massage Envy doesn't feel bad, but most of us do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and what's even more concerning is, there are other coaches out there, and you can apply this to any business, but there are other coaches that say, hey, you're locked into a 6-month or a 1-year agreement with me. So show up, don't show up, it's your loss. Right. But in my case, it's a month to month. When I get after 90 days, it's a month to month with that person. So I'm constantly evaluating, hey, am I going to keep this client? Do I have to replace this client? Now, what's interesting is going through that exercise, I literally have changed my coaching model going forward. So now it's 90 days minimum commitment. And then after 90 days, they are going to commit to a length of time.
Yeah.
So that way I'm not having to go through every single month going, do I got to replace him? Do I not got to replace him? You just don't know, and I don't like that feeling. So I changed my business model one-on-one going forward. It's, if we get through 90 days, then we're going to work out a 6-month to a 1-year relationship after that. Otherwise, I'm going to go and find a different client because I don't want to have to deal with that every month.
Right. You don't need that weighing on you.
Yeah. Because I've over 60% of my client base has been with me for more than 2 years. So those people I'm not really concerned about. But the newer ones is a lot more concerning.
Yeah.
So now you're doing business coaching, right?
Right.
So let me give you, I just closed, this will be worth the call all on its own for you. Okay. I just closed a $5,000 2-day engagement with a client. And that's going to turn into, I think, a product line going forward. So if you would like me to, you want me to give you the strategy and the business model there?
Sure.
Okay. So I believe I've taught 1-page strategic plan on this call.
The annual plan?
Yeah.
Yes.
So when I went and met with this client, they got 35 employees. They've got 3 managers, and the owner makes 4. So 4 managers. And I went and met with him for about an hour. Normally I would charge for that, but I didn't feel like I had enough relationship with this guy to do that. So they heard me speak at an event. So I gave them a couple of assessments for free and did the debriefs with them, and come to find out there's a lot more opportunity there. So I met with the guy, and he's explaining to me all the stuff that they're looking to strategically accomplish this coming year. And I said, you know what we really need to do is we need to do a 2-day retreat with you and your management team. And have you ever done that? And he goes, no, I know it. I think it would be a great idea. I just never knew how to structure that. And so basically, I'm going to take them away. They're going to book their own facility and all that stuff. So I'm going to go and meet with them for a solid day, the first day. And then it's a mandatory lunch or dinner. And then we're going to finalize their 2019 strategic plan the next day. And so it's going to take everybody in that organization. We're going to get the one-page strategic plan done for the company. And then each manager is going to design their own one-page strategic plan that supports the company's one-page plan. And that's what they're going to walk away with. And sorry about that. The fire department's showing up. So
you have a lot of that there, John.
because we're on fire here.
Oh no. Again?
So he found it valuable enough when I asked him, I said, he goes, well, how much would you charge to facilitate that 2-day event for me? And I said, well, I'd charge you $5,000. He's like, okay, let's do it. I'm like, shit, I just left God knows how much money on the table, number one. Number two is that exists. So that's something that I would highly consider implementing in your own business in 2019.
All right.
Because you're going to go after a bigger client with a bigger budget, and you have the analytical brain power to accomplish it. And I'll give you the roadmap, you know, all the one-page plan forms, everything.
Okay.
All you would do is rebrand it to yourself.
All right.
And you can do this twice a year. Like, I'm going to do this twice a year. I'm like, geez, man, I could have been doing this all along. So, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, the market is demanding it, and companies don't do that. They don't get away with their people.
Yeah.
So, any questions about that? Anything that you would, any other help that I can give you today?
I think I'm good.
Okay. Fantastic. So, cool. Well, go out and make it happen. Have a wonderful Christmas. We're going to be on for next Monday.
We are on for Monday?
I mean, I'm going to be there.
Okay.
So I'm going to put it out to everybody else, and I'll be there. And
is that Christmas Eve?
That's Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to make it. I'm heading down to my folks in Brentwood.
Okay. Well, I'm going to actually, there's a talk I do every year called The Best of the Year. So the talk I'm going to give next week is going to be the best strategies that I created and implemented in 2018. And so those that show up, great. Those that don't are going to get a great recording.
All right. That sounds great. And how about the following week?
Following week, I'll be there as well.
All right.
So, and then we're officially going to relaunch. So like from April until now, it's been kind of a soft launch on this program, working out all the bugs and the kinks and that sort of thing. And we've got everything done. So we're going to officially roll this out to the market in January. And we're going in at a price point of $497 a month. And because that's what the market tells us that we can, the market actually tells us $997, but I'm going to be a little bit more conservative than that. And we've been working diligently on the back end infrastructure to support it all. And but like yourself and the other people that have gotten in on the early thing, you guys' cost and structure is never going to change. So it'll be that way forever.
Okay.
But we're going to encompass guest speakers in future calls and that sort of thing. And I already got a bunch of those people lined up.
Great.
Yeah. So, all righty. Well, have fun. Have a great week.
All right. You too.
All right.
Talk to you
You
after
bet.
Christmas.
Talk to you later.
All right. Bye,
All
John.
right. Bye-bye.